Now let's look at natural monopolies and also regulating a monopoly. Generally, it's a natural monopoly like BC Hydro or Transit Authority that would be regulated. Now, of course, if it's a monopoly, the demand curve is a market demand curve, so it's downward sloping. We've got a marginal revenue curve that's going to lie to the inside. With a natural monopoly like BC Hydro, there's huge infrastructure costs, and so you want to have it takes a lot of power generation to get that cost per megawatt or kilowatt down. So we end up with an average total cost curve that would look something like this. It takes a lot of quantity until we get to a minimum point, so it might be something like this, and start increasing. Then if we put in our marginal cost curve, we know it's going to intersect the minimum point, this is the average total cost curve. We put in our marginal cost curve, it's going to intersect this minimum point. So our marginal cost curve is going to look something like this and come up. We've got a marginal cost curve. Now left unregulated, this monopoly would produce where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. So this would be the quantity, we'll call it U for unregulated. And then we go up, and this would be the price of unregulated. Now you can see that we're a long way from production efficiency or allocation efficiency, and the price is quite high. So what the government can do is come in and regulate the monopolies, and there's two ways they can regulate. First way to regulate would be to set a socially optimal price. So a socially optimal price would be this point here, so we'll call it point PSO for socially optimal, and then this would be the quantity that's socially optimal. And so this would be the price if we'd set it along here. Now what we're doing here with the price socially optimal, we're pricing it so that we are getting allocation efficiency. Or in other words, we price it where marginal cost equals marginal benefit. And so we're reaching socially optimal point, which is allocation efficiency. Now the challenge here, however, is that the price is PS0, but the cost to produce is up here. And so what we'd be incurring here is an economic loss. Now there is some pricing out there that is socially optimal. An example would be the Transit Authority. When you jump on a bus and you pay your pass for the bus, is nowhere near are you covering the cost of that transportation. However, the government says, no, we want to go with socially optimal pricing, and so we're actually going to subsidize it. So an alternative method a government could do is they could choose what we call the fair return, and that's the point where the average total cost curve intersects the demand curve. So this would be price, we'll call it fair return. Now what this would mean is the quantity would be a little less, so this would be Q fair return, so QFR, with a price of FR. Now we see that this price is less than the price of an unregulated economy, and also the quantity is greater. Now the price of fair return is the point at which the average total cost curve equals the price. So this means that there's no economic profit, but there's no economic loss. And so this is the way most utilities are regulated. They go through a process where they present to the government, here's the cost of operating, so they present and show them where their average total cost curve is, and then they say we're allowed to have a fair return, so 4, 5, 6, maybe 8%, and that's how the prices are set. And this is exactly how our electricity rates are set, and our charges for natural gas coming into our house, and all those types of utilities. And that's called the fair return. And so there you have it, the two major ways that governments can regulate monopolies, and then a cost curve for natural monopoly.